Hey, it's 28 millimeter RPG. Rick, once again. It's here talking about the game that we had last night. So, often, um, well, I think one of the things I kind of realized in our game from last night is sometimes game master doesn't get what um they want in the game itself. Not in a bad thing, but um in a way, sometimes you want to have like lots of action and stuff going on, but sometimes the way the players are playing at the time, uh sometimes they roll really good and stuff like that, so they kind of avoid the situations that can get into a kind of more of a hairy kind of situation. So there was a couple of things that I had in the game which which did not go the way that I entirely thought it would. Well, it never goes the way I entirely think. But thematically, um, I tried to put stuff in there that would maybe make it more, more action orientated and stuff like that. There was some pretty good role playing points, like um let's see, Josh did some pretty interesting things which surprised me. And yeah, he went ahead and did a thing, and there was, I mean, I could have maybe added a few things that caused problems, but it really, there wasn't really any call for it, except for maybe to involve more action to the scene, combat and stuff like that. But really, it kind of brings me to a point in this, in what you're trying to do in a game. How do I say this? Like what, like sometimes you want to go ahead and have the players have the softer tone kind of, games where things can be happening, and they can just role play in through that session, and there's not like a scary, like, we need to get this done situation. And then every once in a while you put in that action kind of sequence that's going to happen or occur, or whatever. But sometimes the players kind of dictate a lot of, in my games, on what's going to happen, even though they don't realize it. They may think, oh, Rick's got to set up on something, and something crazy is going to happen. Well, sometimes it does. Sometimes they do other things instead that just lead to a session where there isn't so much action. Now, it's not always bad to not have like some crazy action going on, but at the same time, there was, some sequences in that session where there was some interesting things going on. There's a lot of exploring, uh, and I don't know. It was kind of, I was, as a game master, I was hoping for more action, and you can't just, put stuff in there for action's sake. You have to kind of pick and choose your spots and where action can be, you know, put into the situation. And you can't kind of force it into there. So in this kind of case, it was a world where it was fairly restrictive, but I mean, the characters were performing to their strengths. Now, Josh's character is strong in having the streetwise skills and the ability to to try and circumvent certain things in his kind of lifestyle as a bounty hunter. So he played to his strengths. He's not his character isn't a diplomatic negotiator, so he did avoid a lot of the potential situations by just pulling back when he was faced with those. So I'm thinking my players are playing their characters to now realizing what their strengths and weaknesses are. And I think that comes with with the time that they have with their characters as they play them. So the players are realizing what their strong points are and playing to them a lot more efficiently further along in the game. And you'll probably find that with a lot of your players as they start to understand what their characters are, they'll start to play them a lot better and a lot more efficiently, and and get results to their strengths. And you'll find that maybe in the beginning of campaigns, your characters are doing a lot of mistakes because they're they're thinking in the lines of some of the games that they've played in the past with other characters that they like to play as. And then they go into a game with a fresh new character and they're like, okay, I'm going to be this kind of a character and do this, but I only have this certain group of skill sets. So so yeah, and then when they begin, they're kind of like they're still not 100% integrated with the paperwork that they see in front of them that says, okay, this is your character, these are all your skills, and this is what you can do so far. So then they make the mistakes of not putting the right person in front in that situation. Kind of like when in the beginning where Josh was trying to negotiate the deal with the body of Sarek, and so he was trying to go ahead and get himself a better deal in that situation, and it just wasn't happening because he wasn't the negotiator he wasn't the guy that should be negotiating the contract. It was more of Adamus's character that should be negotiating contracts. Now that the players know each other's strengths and stuff, they're realizing what they can do and what they can't do. Or what they can try and usually get away with. With Spencer's character, um he's still trying to figure out what he's really good at, but he's very widespread. All his skills are kind of like flat, but he's got skills everywhere, but he's not really particularly really good at any particular one. so so he feels kind of weird with his character because he's not like particularly has a role except as the owner of the ship. So he is a majority owner of the ship, with Adamus in a second place as far as ownership of the ship, and the rest of the characters are kind of they're just crew members. So um and it was some good rolls there that got them. I just rolled really lousy for my because whenever I roll for a challenge, I just go with whatever I roll on the dice sometimes. So I kind of like said, okay, well, I'll roll for the potential of negotiate, because Josh was trying to find some items which normally wouldn't be found in this kind of a situation on this planet, and he rolled better than what I rolled for his challenge. So it went. I just went with it, and he was able to go ahead and find himself some armor, not weapons, some armor, which was, considering that the technology of the society of the world that they were on was like Tech 14, this stuff is Tech 12. So uh, it's kind of like loot that somebody had kind of hanging around from another group empire. This stuff, this armor is kind of more quasi uh Shukikikar kind of armor and stuff. So it's kind of spoils of war kind of material. So they happen to have a few suits of this armor that they decided, okay, we'll just offload it onto these guys. We'll give them a good cut rate deal, and oh, they want to buy all of them. Well, we'll sure, okay, this will save us from having to circumvent the authorities around the starport, even better, because it's a lot easier to offload, in one go, than chancing it over multiple times. So they got a good deal on that, and the rest of the players went ahead and chucked in their money to go ahead and work that, and they got some pretty impressive battle armor now, which will help in certain situations, that's for sure. But keep in mind, it is Tech 12 stuff, and a lot of the stuff that they will be encountering is very high tech. So um, it'll also help them in in situations when they're on planets where they're really low tech, and they'll be effectively gods on those planets as long as they're wearing the armor, kind of idea. So um, it'll bring a pretty interesting situations further on in the game. But there again, you don't always run around with battle armor on yourself throughout the entire situation. So it's stuff that you have to, don, and you want to kind of keep it in the closet so that the batteries in it recharge and everything, and then you're fresh to go when you don the armor, and you'll have you have a certain amount of time that you can use this armor out in the field, kind of idea, and have a replacement pack to put in there, and keep yourself going in the field. But that's the thing about these kinds of armors and stuff. You don't have, it's not like stuff that isn't powered. I mean, you could wear that, for long periods of time, weeks, months, years, even. But the power armor has some limitations, but once again, some really huge strengths when you use it, actually. Um, so yeah, I was thinking, it was kind of like my brain was thinking, yeah, there might be some action here, and there might be some action there, and there might be some, there might be even an actual fight on the ship. And I thought for a second there that there might be, but there wasn't. So it was fairly interesting. Now, Shadow's character, he played a little bit more. He was actually he was we had a little bit of a talk before the game actually started, so he kind of got more used to the players in the beginning, because we were all yakking back and forth and talking about things, and we had some interesting conversation. He started to get used, because he hasn't met really the other players too much. Like he only had the one interaction just before we played on the previous episode. um, but this time he came in early. He talked to Josh and Spencer, and they were back and forth, talking about things that they like and everything. And we were talking about Spencer's computer and stuff. I'm working working on that now. I had to do a little bit of a fix on his computer we're gonna get it back together again. He will be able to um, have a little bit better of a system once again to work with, instead of a couple of like a laptop and a kind of lower tier computer to work with. This one that I gave him was it's a it's an eight core processor from 2010, 2012, somewhere in there. And yeah, pretty skookum, ATI uh R9 Nitro 390. So that thing was a pretty good beast of a graphics card for its time, and it still fetches a pretty good price. So it's still working wonders in that system. And we got another motherboard, and we're getting everything fixed up on it, and I should have it together possibly tonight. We aren't having our um godforsaken game session tonight. I'm currently on a liquid diet for a bit of a medical procedure tomorrow. So I do the liquids, and I gotta take some stuff which flushes your system, if you know what I mean. So and the time I have to take that is pretty much an hour before our session. And I don't want to be like, leaving the session as a game master. So we preempted it for now. We have uh our next session for Traveler is going to be our basically our ending cap for the end of the this season. So I kind of look at it, we're going to be basically about 8 episodes, between 8 to 10 episodes per season in our Traveler games. Give me a break so I can talk about other things, other games and stuff like that we can have. I might do a couple of one shots later on, and then we'll get back into another season with the same ship and its crew. And you know that's the way I kind of look at what's happening in the next little while, game wise. I'd like to go ahead and get more involved in bringing up some more role playing games that I've purchased in the last little while, and and talk about different things too, other than just Traveler, and just having my Traveler game and having this and Godforsaken game going on every once in a while. I wouldn't mind having the Godforsaken game uh, be a weekly thing instead of a bi-weekly thing, because what I find is maybe the players might find it a little bit better to have that weekly thing, because they'll develop their characters a little bit more efficiently. It's kind of like if you go ahead and you're only playing like twice a month. You forget about what your character is capable of, and you start you're quite separated from it. Whereas there, as I was saying, now, because of the weekly play of the Traveler game, they know exactly their strengths of each of their characters, and they know what they can do, and they're bonded quite well to what they see on the character sheet. So um that's a thing. And yeah, possibly a little bit longer of a um like I say, a little bit more shorter stint between um sessions would create that a little bit more better, more cohesive kind of thing going on with the players and their characters. So we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure whether or not I can, lend myself to another night other than a Monday, but my schedule is usually quite consistent as in my work. So we'll have to see. Um, but Monday tends to be the only other day that I can do a uh, a session. It's just Gord has his game every second Monday as well, so that's the thing. Um, Other than that, yeah, I thought the session went well, fairly fluid. A couple of lax times where we kind of were. I tried to go ahead and integrate the NPCs a little bit more to prompt the players into talking responses and stuff, and start rolling the role playing. And that's that's something I'm working on as well, trying to get that pacing down a little bit more with my game mastering skills. And like I say, we're all evolving, learning, grasping more ideas of how to get this thing more fluid in more of a movie kind of context. Because well, we say that movie context, you're never going to get an actual movie context happening because role playing media is a lot different than a movie media. So um, you have to kind of have it as a cross between, and kind of hopefully marry the two concepts together, so you have something that you can watch within a time frame that most players will most people watching it will go ahead and continually observe what's happening and be interested. So that's the thing, and we're trying to eliminate a lot of those barriers to for people to, watch it without having to go, oh God, they're setting up tokens again. This is going to take hours, and so we've eliminated all that. And as for an actual sit down role playing game at the table kind of idea, it's everybody should maybe try it, and they'll find that their sessions go a lot more faster. So we'll see, you gotta experiment, maybe try a few new things. It's the thing is to get your players on board too is a major point of it. Having examples of it so that the players see, hey, this is what I want to do as a game master. I want the game to go like this, like these guys here. Have an example on the internet that they can follow. I've given them some pointers to different channels to see, to get some ideas, and I write them notes to say, okay, see how these guys go ahead and integrate their mechanics in the game. That's what I want to do with this, and that's we've been successful at that. I kind of just let them know what they need to roll. They roll it, boom, and we're on the way. If you look at our earlier sessions in Shadow of the Stars, you'll see we kind of were, they're still learning how the sheets work in the fantasy grounds, but now they've totally caught on and they know exactly where to look for their skills and stuff, and they're way more faster at bringing up the information and bang hitting that roll, and the roll goes ahead and comes up pretty quickly now. So which is good. Give them credit for learning the interface, a lot better now. But that comes with time. You have to get used to working with certain virtual tabletops and stuff like that. Um, Other than that, yeah, That's all I really have to say right now. I'll come up with some more stuff later on today. Maybe I'll do some live streaming and stuff. Um, Tomorrow I'll probably be out of commission, so we'll see how the anesthetic wears off and stuff, and see where I'm at in the afternoon, and go from there. Maybe I'll just chill out and play some PC games or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But thanks for tuning in and listening to me yak here. Once again, it's just basically me talking about the session before is what this is all about. So that's all I want to get into. And hey, if you like what you see and you want to, help support it and learn stuff, and I'm learning stuff too, learn together, and subscribe. It's free. And you'll never have to buy anything. You just get notifications and stuff. You know when I broadcast something. So you can learn something. And I can learn something. And once again, we both learn over and over the big circle of life. Subscribe. Do it. Do it now.